Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to Luana's Urban Voices. How are you guys doing this morning? Um, Today, I feel like I need to address this whole um, dating thing where these women are saying, I'm too good for Red Lobster, the Cheesecake Factory, Applebee's, or I'm too good to go on a Starbucks coffee date for the first date. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is my take on dating. As a woman, our expectations is if a man asks us out, that he's going to pay for the date. Dating is expensive when um dating is expensive, period. So when a man is asking a woman out that he just met, doesn't really know, he's probably going to take you to a place that makes sense to get to know you on a first date. Women, you aren't entitled to go to the fanciest steakhouse on the first date, even though you know your worth. Has nothing to do about your worth. It has to do about setting the expectations of setting the expectations of what to expect on a first date. To me, if you met them online, any of those online dating sites, the first date, in my opinion, should be Starbucks because you guys have communicated via text. You might have had one or two phone calls. So, in order to really sit down and talk and get to know a person, I think a Starbucks coffee afternoon date is perfect. You go to Starbucks, you sit down, you talk and get to know each other. And in that conversation, men and women, you know if you really want to go out on a date with this person. You really get an opportunity after the first in face conversation to determine if you guys want to, further communicate. I don't know that I want to have that type of awkward interaction at a restaurant and we don't have a chemistry. At least at Starbucks, you get an opportunity to have you get to see each other's chemistry, hear about their sense of humor, their views. You get a chance to really talk. If you do it on a Saturday afternoon and there's no pressure, you just get to kind of see what each other is about. And then if you like each other and want to see each other again, then of course, by all means, start get ready for a nice dinner date or a great afternoon lunch date at a restaurant. That makes sense to me because I don't want to be at a fancy restaurant with somebody I have nothing in common with. We don't have any conversation and we're just kind of sitting there eating our food. I don't want to, that to me, that's not a good date. Um, and if I do go to a fancy restaurant, let me be honest, I'm ordering the least expensive thing on the menu. I don't want there to be any um, misconceptions. I don't want there to be any, I don't want him having any ideas that because he spent $100 on my dinner that I have to go back home. I don't want any miscommunications. So if we do go to a restaurant, any restaurant we go to, it doesn't even matter to me. I'm ordering the least expensive thing on the menu and I'm ordering either a sweet tea, lemonade, or soda. I'm not even getting anything to drink because I want to know if he's drinking, what he's like when he's drunk, and I want to make sure that I'm clear headed to be able to see how he acts in the situation. I've been on dates where um, we've gone out to a fancy restaurant and he didn't have fancy restaurant etiquette. But in his attempt to impress me, that's where he took me. And then when it came down to the bill, of course, I know I ordered the least expensive thing on the menu. So my dinner is never going to be more than $30 ever at an expensive restaurant. And trust and believe, if I can get it cheaper than that, I'm going cheaper than that. But I also look to see how he tips, how he talks to the waitress. Um, just a whole bunch of different things in general that you look. So, women, when you are initially dating and you know your worth, and I'm not discounting your worth, you don't necessarily have to go to the most expensive restaurant on the first date. Get to know the guy because he might be somebody you don't want to date. And why do you feel entitled to have this man drop $200 or $300 on a meal for you? Why? He doesn't know you. You don't know him. But if y'all got into a relationship, he might be that man that will surprise you with roses for no reason. That might take you out on an anniversary or for no reason at all to the most expensive restaurant because now you guys are in a relationship. But on that initial date, just get to know his personality, his politics, his views, his character. You don't need an expensive restaurant to get to know the person if you want to date them. And men and women, you know, within the first, I would say 30 minutes of a conversation, if you want to be bothered with that person. You know that. We all know that. And if you don't want to be bothered with that person, what's the point of going out and making this elaborate dinner? Why? Ordering everything you can on the menu so you can have a to go bag. Why? It makes no sense. Also, as women, before you go out on a date, make sure you got your money. Just in case something goes wrong, make sure you can either Uber home, meet him there, or that you can pay for your own meal. So if things get out of hand or the expectations change, you got yourself. Women, you cannot go out on these dates broke and then have an attitude if he don't want to pay for your meal. Well, he asked you out, true. And if he decides in the middle of the date that you're not what he's looking for and he leaves and doesn't want to pay for your meal, and you went out on a date broke because you was expecting him to pay for your meal, that's not a good look. So I say, I was taught by my mom, by my aunt, have your own money when you go out on a date, just in case. And there are times when I'm on a date where I'll say, hey, can I get the tip? And he'll be like, no, I got it. Or thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah, let me get the tip at least. Um, if we had a good date and everything is going well, I want to be, I want him to know that this will be a partnership and not a me being entitled to him spending money every chance he gets. No, it'll be a partnership. And I think if as dating we take on that attitude more so than take me to this fancy restaurant, where's my flowers, this and I just met you. Women, are you trying to have sex with the man you just met? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. I'm not trying to sex you on the first date. I don't want to sex you on the first date. So, with that being said, set the expectations correctly. Be be okay with the Applebee's date or an Olive Garden date or a cheesecake factory date. Be okay with that in the beginning on the first date. Set your expectations once you guys are actually dating, not first date get to know each other. Because you might be at this fancy restaurant and he's never been there before, and he'd be like, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to be sitting across no table from somebody in this fancy restaurant. He don't know how to act. You don't know what kind of etiquette he has. Um, he might be looking at you because you don't have no etiquette. You never really you eating your lobster with your hand and tearing it open because you don't have no etiquette. You don't even know what your lobster fork is for. You wanna you want the first date to be about, is this somebody I see myself with long term? Or is this just somebody I'm gonna chill with until my long term comes? And if you meet somebody you just want to chill with, those are your coffee dates, your Fridays type of dates, your um, ice cream dates. Those are those kind of dates. You don't, the person that you want to spend long time with, you want to set the expectations that we're going to spend time together. Um, the one thing I will advise against, ladies, this Netflix and chill date, that's some bullshit. You want this guy meet you in the first date, he wants you to come to his house and do some Netflix and chills? Fuck that. We ain't doing that on the first date. We're gonna meet someplace public. I want to be able to talk to you. I don't want you harassing me or overly affectionate to me and we just met. Not doing that on the first date. Um, I also know that when you guys are dating and it gets to the point where you guys have been dating for a few months and he says, "Hey, babe, you want to come by my house and watch a movie?" And you like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come by your house and watch a movie. That sounds cool." And he says, "Can you stop and pick up something to eat?" "Yeah, I got you, no problem." And you got him because he has you. Um, I always think that dating is reciprocal. Dating should be reciprocal because when you're in a marriage, it's 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, 80-20, 90-10. Your marriage fluctuates. When you're dating, I feel like it should do the same thing. It should be reciprocal. You should be willing to say, "Hey, you know what? He took me out, and been paying for everything. I'm going to take him out and let him know I appreciate him." Um, and that's why I say, ladies, when you set your expectations, if you're always expecting him to take you to a fancy steakhouse that is going to cost them $200-300, are you willing, as a lady, as his lady, to take him to a dinner and spend $200 or $300 on him? Are you guys willing to do that? This is your man now. Y'all dating. Are you willing to treat him the way you want him to treat you? When you're dating or in a serious relationship, I always feel you should treat him or her the way you want to be treated. And I think if you guys treat each other the way you want to be treated, the way you want to be treated, and that's how you treat that person, and they're reciprocal or reciprocate that treatment, then you got the one. But if you're in a relationship and you treat him really good and he doesn't treat you the same, or she treats you or he treats you really good and you don't treat him the same, then you guys are wasting each other's time. Because I do believe when you're in a relationship and you guys really want to be together, you guys are going to do things to show each other that not only do you like them, you appreciate them, you enjoy their company, you want to be with that person. So everything you do is going to come easy and natural. And it's not going to be an argument. And if he says, "Babe, I feel like Taco Bell tonight," you're going to say, "Can we do Taco Casa?" And he's going to say, "Bet." And there's going to be times when you tell him, "Babe, I'm not in the mood to cook tonight. Can we do Chinese food?" He's going to be like, "Got you. Let's do it." So those are the type of relationships or the type of experiences that we should want to have. This whole my first date, I'm not a Cheesecake Factory girl. I'm not an Olive Garden girl. This is the first date. I expect you to take me to McGuire Steakhouse downtown. Everything is a la carte, nothing less than $50. Not on a first date. And men, if you run into a woman who feels like that should be her first date, doesn't matter how much money he makes, no matter how much money he's got. If that's how she feels that should be her first date, mm-mm. I don't think that's who you want to be your ride or die. Because a true ride or die is going to appreciate wherever you take her on a first date. And women, a man who truly wants to be with you is going to take you someplace nice on a first date, someplace nicer on a second date, and someplace out of this world when you guys really start dating, then you're going to see anniversaries, you're going to see all these things come to fruition because you do know your worth and he's also going to know your worth. But your worth doesn't have to be exploited on the first date. That's all I'm saying. So take it with a grain of salt. I just think that we can do better, men and women, when it comes to dating. But women, this idea that you are better than um, Olive Garden or the Cheesecake Factory, nobody's better than Olive Garden and the Cheesecake Factory. I mean, hey, you've been there. That's how you know what kind of restaurant it's been. So you've eaten there before. Because if you've never eaten there, then you can say, I've never been here before. So how do you know it's good or bad? How do you know if it's expensive or not? There's a lot of chain restaurants you guys don't realize are chain restaurants. McCormick Steakhouse, it's a chain. And in each city they change the name of their steakhouse, but it's still a chain. So you guys don't know what chain restaurants really are. You don't know what an exclusive restaurant is. Shoot, Hell's Kitchen is a chain. Exactly. It's expensive, but it's still a chain restaurant. So, ladies, unless you've been to these places that you're talking about, I'm too good for, how do you know you're too good for them? Because you've eaten there before. And you know the food is good. You just want to act all bougie. Don't nobody want no bougie woman on the first date. Now, um, I've seen some of the most, I've seen rich people eat at Olive Garden, and I've seen people celebrating birthdays eat at Olive Garden. It's no big deal. So that's my 2 cents for today. I might come back later on because there's some interesting stories going on in the news that I might want to address. But for right now, thank you for tuning in to Lawana's Urban Voices. I appreciate it. And yes, as you can see, Cowboys fan till the end. Die-hard, true Dallas Cowboy fan. Win, lose, or tie. Cowboy fan till I die. So all these little cowboy jokes about us not making it to the Super Bowl, that's all right. We're going next year. Yeah, I said it and I meant it. You guys have a great day. Thank you for tuning in to my Urban Voices. And as always, please, if you listen, please refer a friend. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.